Recording in progress. Ah, okay, cool. So we're here today to talk to Hannah and Cheryl, who are two beautiful women who completed my mentorship earlier this year. So I already know that they're both very awake and inspired and ready to embrace this higher frequency that's coming in through the chaos of the current times that we're in. And both of you, I've invited to just have a chat with both of you because I was really excited to hear that both of you have chosen to take your children out of the system and to begin homeschooling. And I can't even imagine how that must be, but more and more parents are looking into this option in light of the current jib-jab situation. And from talking to a few other people, it seems like many people who are currently home educating have been doing so for many reasons, but this is the latest big thing that's causing many parents to decide to start homeschooling. So Cheryl, I'm not sure if your sound is a bit roughly there, Cheryl.
Well, let me can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just yeah, come maybe a little closer to the mic, and then we can hear you. So just tell us how you decided, or what sort of inspired you or triggered you to do this.
I mean, I suppose my decision until I actually took action took a couple of years, because I was always thinking about home education from the very moment you're obviously, it's that choice of do my children go to school or not, because we do have that choice. And it's something I was always thinking about. I felt that it would fit me, it would fit our life. But at the time, I don't know, I wasn't open enough, let's say that. I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the knowledge, I maybe didn't have the not even self-confidence. It's not like you need to be confident to do it, but just you need to be ready, like within yourself, like this fits us, this is right for us. And it was after, obviously, when the first lockdown started, everybody anyway was literally homeschooling, not home educating, but trying to reach
oh yes, of course there's a difference, because homeschooling is what they had to do.
Yeah, bringing the school into the home environment, which is a completely different kettle of fish, which is what we'll talk about anyway. What Hannah and I and lots of other families do is home education. But it was actually during that period of really being able to have the space to be with my children, understand how he likes to learn, and just playing together and seeing him learning through play, and seeing how his mind was really opening up as well to following the things that he was interested in. And it came from my little boy, which was really interesting. So I have an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. And it was actually him that said, "Mommy, can we homeschool?" Obviously, he called it homeschool at the time. I know. And I was like,
yes. Where had he heard the term?
So we do have a lot of home educators within our network. My kids, they go to a German academy, which is a very much learn by play environment for a morning. So they're also getting, learning another language through play. And within that community, there was a lot of home educators. And so he was aware of it, and I think it just came from him. He was like, "Mummy, I like this. I like learning from home. I like learning through life like this." And it was...
What is the name of the organisation, Cheryl, that he was doing? Because you two happened to be in Leicester. You didn't know that, did you, at the time when you first met?
Yeah.
You just happened to both be in the same area. What is the organisation that you spoke about? Is this for young children, preschool children?
Yes, so the language kindergarten, it's called, is based in Leicester. It's on Queen's Road.
Oh, okay.
And they do French, they do German, and obviously because I have history with living in Germany, they went there a couple of times a week whilst they were at preschool. And they still go there now. They absolutely love it. It's for all ages now. They've opened it up for all ages again, because people are inquiring more and more about home education. So yeah, he had an insight that it was a possibility, that it does exist. And he loved it. He loved being at home. He loved learning. He just loved having the freedom to explore what his little mind was, curious about, and then supporting that, because that's our role. That's Hannah and I's role as a home educator. We're facilitating their learning. We're not prescribing what he has to learn. We're just assisting him and guiding them. And yeah, that's kind of how it happened. Like, we sat down with the dad, like, okay, what do we think? And he was like, absolutely yes, because of the current climate. And that was it. Yeah, but it also still wasn't a simple decision. And I know, Hannah, you'll resonate with this as well, because you had a period, weren't you, where you were like, oh God, am I doing it? Am I not? I had that. And when you actually deregister your child, it is a nervy thing, because it's my own history. I've been through the system. And then to kind of remove yourself from that programming, that thing that you're used to, it is a big step, but the whole like home ed community support network you have, they're all like, it's okay. We've all been there. Like, do it. Yeah. It's really good. Hang on, somebody's at the door. I'm going to hand you over to Hannah. I'm
going to speak to Hannah. We're very cash here.
Yes.
So Hannah, tell me your sort of like step into this, because I am genuinely fascinated, and I'm sort of trying to connect people that are asking me, and I thought this was a great way in. So what's your story?
Sure. So similarly to Cheryl, I was always interested in homeschooling, like from once Morgan was born. And actually we had a gap year where we were traveling, and in that year I was like, I'm going to do it, like traveling the world, but actually I lost confidence in myself of being able to do that. Got offered a job, came back to England and started him in school, so slipped back into that way of life. But then
I know that feeling. Slipped back into that way of life. I know that feeling.
Happens too easily sometimes, doesn't it? But yeah, then obviously once things started kicking off with the pandemic, and actually I suppose before that we were forced to homeschool, and I actually remember saying to myself, thank goodness I didn't homeschool, because this is horrendous. And then I had a light bulb moment. I was like, hang on, no, this isn't how I was planning to do it. Like, this is homeschool, yes, but this isn't home educating. There's a huge difference. And it really gave me that experience of the difference. And I think along that time is also when I connected with Cheryl, and she was the only person that I knew who was doing it. Obviously you hear about people, but I didn't know anyone in real life. And so that really big, like,
isn't it? I love how the universe is pulling people together,
Absolutely.
I think it's just amazing that you didn't know anyone else that was home educating. And were you home educating at that time, Cheryl?
Yeah. Oh. When we did your mentorship, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't realise that at the time. Sorry, Hannah, carry on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's so true. I feel, like I have been guided along that way to connect. And then since then, I've kept crossing paths with other people on that, similar journey. So along the way, that obviously built my confidence of like, oh, people are doing it. It's not that unusual, it's not that strange. And I have a lot of gratitude to Cheryl, actually, because she's guided me along that way, kept coming to her with like different questions, and what are you doing about this, and how do you do that? And like she says, she watched me kind of dip in and out, like, I'm going to do it, no, I'm not doing it, and then through the summer holidays, obviously everything was ramping up, with things like the vaccines. But fortunate at the moment because Morgan is only 6, so obviously still a little way off the vaccine side of things. But
just don't say the word. Don't say the word.
Oh yeah. The things, yeah. The
thing.
The V.
I've only had one YouTube channel removed.
We don't want that. No. And he and so I also have got that feeling of I had my child because I wanted to be an influence in his life. And at the moment, I felt like him going to school, actually, they were having a bigger influence on him than me, because he was spending more time there, he's around peers, and he's essentially, being brainwashed into their agenda.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wanted to start being able to guide him to other ways of thinking. that there's more out there.
I'm so in awe of both of you, especially because I go back to when my kids were ready for school. I just couldn't wait to drop them off and skip, thinking, thank God, because my whole life was just chaotic and chaos. And so I suppose the difference now is seeing you both like so open and here now in the world as it is, and really recognizing that the programming is just so obvious now, isn't it? You couldn't get more sort of in your face time to step away from that system. And so who decides each day what's going to happen? What goes on? How does that Cheryl?
How does the day work? So when I first started, I really I do have a teaching background. I am a qualified teacher. I work in universities. I work through all of different age groups academically. So I understand the process of the curriculum. So for me, I really had to shake that off as well. But when I started, I did just have my eye over the curriculum. Like I went to his school's page, and you can pull down the curriculum, what each year are doing, okay, just to have a kind of glaze over, well, what are they, doing at that age? And I remember when we first started, I really had it like with me. And then what I noticed was my little boy, I don't want to say my little boy, he wanted to go elsewhere in his mind. So I literally just like, I just surrendered. And I went, okay, let's close that book and let's play for like a month. And let's see what you're curious about, what your mind, because children are so tuned in to nature, the world, and energy. Like it's us, it's the adults that need to let go, And I notice this because you do have days where, things might not go to a kind of plan. And you have to just practice letting go, because it's like, no, you
don't have, like, how much structure do you have, or don't you? Do you go with the flow, or is it a kind of nice little balance?
We have a nice balance. So we we do English and maths. Indy loves his maths, so like it's something that he will really naturally, he'll enjoy doing. But the projects, like for example, science and nature and geography, it's all life anyway, it's all around us all the time. And if children are just left to explore and go in the garden and explore, they will ask questions, they will give you the questions that we're going to study tomorrow. Wow. And that's how we work. We have like a question board, and any little random thing, and it can be really like whatever comes to their head. It can be advanced, it could be really like trivial, whatever. It's an important question for his brain.
So they're kind of guiding you with the curriculum, and you're just really sort of co-creating this education.
Absolutely. But like, it's interesting because like my boy, he's really he as I said, he loves his maths, and so I've kind of just kept an eye on what he would be doing in his year group. But because he's not having to wait, or I shouldn't say that, because he's being guided by his own speed and his own curiosity. Sometimes he does really advanced stuff for his age, which is brilliant. That's just his little mind taking him to that place, and so I never try to restrict him in any way. It's like, right, if you want to look at this, let's look at this. And it's incredible. It's amazing watching children learn and how they learn.
I can imagine how amazing that must be to be
giving them that like autonomy of like guiding themselves. I think this is a very important skill for children as well. It's a very important space to create for kids.
Hannah, have you worked the same way? You sort of do you feel that Cheryl sort of got some sort of loose roadmap? Are you sort of finding your own way of doing it? And do you have a group that you belong to where the kids can come together, Hannah?
Yeah, so Cheryl ideas and plans have been a real influence on me, but then also been part of like quite a few Facebook groups, and just, you know, like really observing what other people are doing, and then obviously trying to make it our own. And yeah, so we go very much with a relaxed approach. You know, I feel like my biggest thing now is I don't want to become the control out of school that Morgan would have had in school. So it's real test of your own kind of I suppose even ego, really, because, you know, you don't want to just become an authoritative figure. And yeah, so I'm learning every day on that.
I just feel like saying kudos to you. Like, it's just, I can see that now, that it's more than just home educating, isn't it? It's like everything that goes with that, you know. I can just feel you.
Someone else in the door.
And we go on to dog training. Home dog training.
Yeah, exactly.
So Hannah, do you have groups, and how often do you get together in groups?
So I've only been to one group so far. What I've really though worked on is like connecting with other home educators in the local area and having like play dates, getting together, because yeah, that was one of my biggest concerns. You know, I've got an only child, so I didn't want him to never see children again, you know, and be like shut away. We live in quite a rural area.
That's one of the things I keep thinking of, because I've actually got a friend at the moment who is in Bedford, and she's just looking into the whole thing, which is kind of, we were talking about it the other day, which is why I came to you guys and thought, well, people have been asking about home education. So how do you find, well, you said there's Facebook groups and what have you, didn't you, to join up with, but you actually meet together for play dates, or do the kids do some of their education together as well, where somebody who's good at maths, I mean, what happens if you're just not knowledgeable in a subject? How does that work, you know?
I mean, I'd say there's a mix out there. I personally have preferred to so far just be doing the teaching myself, and then when Morgan gets together with people, it's free play, you know, literally just like whatever they want to do, let them kind of get on with it, and be free, you know.
And how often does that happen in a week, Hannah? How often in the week, in a 5-day week, I presume, is it a 5-day week you do?
Again, I'm not strict on that it has to be every day, you know, we'll play it by ear a bit, but I am working on him seeing other children like every day, in some capacity.
That's
like
amazing. I want to be a child again. Can we do this for grown-ups?
I know, that's how life should be, isn't it? We just go around.
I want to do this for grown-ups. I want to go and play.
You can.
This is playing. This being here with you now is playing. You know, I could go and I could go out now. Yeah, 5 minutes. I could go and see an old friend, and I'm enjoying this. For me, this is education. I'm enjoying this conversation, you know. And there's certain things I just don't want to talk about, you know. I love it. I really love it. Wow. So look, I'm going to wind this up because I need to also make sure that we can upload it properly to, I haven't done this for so long, but I've got a few appointments booked up this week for talking, but I'd love to have this conversation again, because this is really making me see the whole idea about home education, actually just this conversation in a very new light. Like I'm really feeling the energy of what you're both saying, and it feels amazing. Would you just like to speak to that, Cheryl, just as a final?
It's a whole lifestyle change, but in a really nourishing way, and if you're just willing to step into that, like I found it so wholesome as a mum. It really like reignited my whole purpose as a mum. And I love it. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, well, what are we going to do today? like it is a really lovely feeling. And obviously, like everything in life, there are ups and there are downs, there are challenges, all of that.
Of course.
But, you know, I feel like we are creating our life really from the inside out. And it's changing a lot. It's changing the way I am now having to work, which is probably another live. But it's really... It's making you create life, create the life that you want to lead.
Oh, wow, I love that. Thank you. And Hannah, what about you? This is powerful.
Yeah, no, beautifully said, Cheryl, totally agree. And I think the other thing I'd say is that for me, I don't know, where this journey of homeschool goes, but one of the things I really feel is coming is a complete change in the education system. And like, I suppose system is the word that would be dropped, but let's just say the way that people are educated. And I'm, I keep seeing a new like venues or new groups that are coming together and offering new ways already. And I find that all really exciting, because I don't think I've got everything that Morgan needs. So, I want to be able to do the core, and then, get him involved in, a group that's teaching it like about spirituality and nature, and, and getting him a much more wholesome form of education along his way.
Wow.
And so, I think the future's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
And can I just add on to that as well?
Yeah.
There is so much support out there. Once you've not even once you've made the decision, there's lots of I'm curious about home education groups where you can just pop in, ask questions, speak to people who are doing it. But, once you're connected to all these different groups, people are sharing resources, and they've had years of experience, and people have created like nature curriculums. So you can teach your child for the whole year just based on the outdoors and nature. And it's just, when I literally read these reads of how people are teaching and facilitating their kids' learning, I'm like, that is so creative. That is such a tactile. It's beautiful.
I mean, you can't not but even start to sort of visualize the new earth,
Yeah.
Just by hearing that.
There is a
alone,
whole new world out there. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Listen, thank you so much. My son decided to come over and start doing some woodworking. I had said, and I didn't realize it was going to be noisy. So I said, I'll only be about 15 minutes. I'm trying to keep him happy. I feel like I'm home educating for the 30 plus now. I'm teaching him woodwork, but he's very good at learning things. But I'm just so grateful for both of you just coming on, and maybe we can do this again sometime. I'm just about to get a new laptop, because I'm really aware that on my computer screen, Cheryl's down here, Hannah's there, and when I look there, I'm looking in the camera, and I find it really weird. So I'm getting myself a new laptop so that I can look at you and the screen at the same time. But thanks for joining me on this lovely Sunday, because it is really lovely out there. And just thanks for sharing this with me. And if anyone's listening and wants more info, we'll put a few links in the comments below. And do get in touch if you want any more information about what these two beautiful women are up to. And we'll do another video on this at some point soon. Big love. Thank you, girls. Take care.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye.